Julian JuJu Lewis has doubts about whether he will replace Shedeur Sanders at Colorado after Coach Prime's mysterious message. Julian JuJu Lewis, one of the most highly touted quarterback recruits in recent memory, is facing unexpected uncertainty about his future at Colorado. The young signal caller, once believed to be the heir apparent to Shedeur Sanders, was left scratching his head after a cryptic message from Coach Prime. Sanders during Big 12 Media Days raised more questions than answers. Lewis, who reclassified to the 2025 class to accelerate his transition to college football, has long been linked with Coach Prime's program. With Shedeur Sanders expected to make the leap to the NFL after this season, the path appeared clear for Lewis to step into the spotlight in Boulder. However, when asked about Lewis and the quarterback succession plan, Sanders offered an ambiguous response that caught attention. "We'll see who wants it most," Coach Prime said with a smirk, leaving fans and analysts speculating about internal competition or a possible shift in direction. Future at Colorado now in question. Lewis, currently committed but still observing the dynamics around the program closely, didn't appear rattled but admitted that the message gave him pause. Speaking to local reporters, he acknowledged the competitive nature of college football but hinted that the lack of clarity could impact his next steps. "Of course I want to compete, but it's always good to know where you stand," Lewis stated. "I'll be watching closely this season." Coach Prime is known for his motivational tactics and isn't one to hand out starting jobs based on hype alone. Still, his decision to keep the door open publicly for other candidates raises eyebrows, especially considering the pressure on Colorado to deliver results after a mixed 2024 campaign. Whether it's mind games or a message to Juju to stay hungry, one thing is certain: the future under center at Colorado remains a developing story. Julian JuJu Lewis was supposed to be the future, the five-star quarterback prodigy, all quick feet, smooth mechanics, and ice-vein confidence, had already been dubbed the next face of Colorado football. At just 17, he read defenses like paperback novels and threw spirals that whistled like secrets in the wind. He committed to Coach Prime Sanders with dreams of inheriting the throne currently occupied by Shedeur Sanders, the golden-armed son of the king. It was all lining up. The story wrote itself. Shedeur would ride off into the NFL, leaving behind his legacy and a locker with room for the next legend. And Juju would walk in while Juju would run to the streets to find his brother, who worked on a bus at the time and met and ready to write chapter 2 of Prime's quarterback dynasty. But then came the message. Coach Prime is a man of swagger and substance, a preacher of belief, a dealer of destiny, but he's also a master of mystery. And in a post-practice interview last week, when asked if JuJu Lewis was the heir to Shedeur's throne, Prime smiled, paused, and said only this: "Not everybody is ready for the shoes they want to fill." He didn't elaborate. He didn't need to. That single line echoed through the college football world like a thunderclap over Folsom Field. Was it a warning, a motivational jab, a sign of doubt? To JuJu Lewis, it felt like a cold gust of uncertainty, blowing through what was supposed to be a warm welcome. The weight of a crown, JuJu Lewis has never been short on confidence. As a high schooler in Georgia, he broke records and expectations in equal measure. Analysts used phrases like NFL ready and once-in-a-day talent. His highlight reels were symphonies of escapability and laser-sharp passing. He had options: Alabama, Georgia, USC. But he chose Colorado. Why? Because of Prime, because of Shedeur, because of the vision. He didn't just want to play quarterback. He wanted to become part of a movement. The Sanders legacy, the rebirth of Colorado, the narrative that felt bigger than football. He wanted to step into a role shaped not just by playbooks, but by purpose. But now that dream trembles, because behind Prime's cryptic statement lies a deeper question. Is Juju ready? Or worse, does Prime think he isn't? A test of fire. The truth is, replacing Shedeur Sanders is not like replacing just any quarterback. Shedeur didn't just run the offense, he was the offense. Calm under pressure, fearless in crunch time, surgical in execution, he elevated Colorado from afterthought to primetime headline. His leadership was natural, his presence magnetic. Juju, for all his talent, is still unproven at the college level. The pace is different, the pressure is relentless, and the expectations, unforgiving. Coach Prime knows this. That's why his message wasn't just for Juju, it was for everyone watching. He's saying, this isn't a handout, this is war. Greatness is earned, not inherited. And JuJu Lewis heard it loud and clear. Confidence Waivers insiders report that JuJu was shaken by the comment. Not angry, but thoughtful, reflective. For a young quarterback who has been praised since middle school, this was perhaps the first time he'd been publicly questioned. And it came from the one man whose validation he craved most. He's reportedly asked his inner circle, do they really believe I'm the guy? He's slowed down his public appearances, pulled back on social media. There's even talk that he's considering whether he should redshirt his freshman year, or worse, explore his options again. For a quarterback like JuJu, whose strength has always been poise under pressure, this sudden crack in confidence is both surprising and very, very human. The Prime philosophy. Of course, there's another way to read Prime's words. The Prime way. Deion Sanders isn't trying to scare JuJu away. He's trying to forge him. Every player who's come through his system knows the deal. You don't get handed greatness. You earn it through sweat, through study, through moments when your ego is shattered and your faith is tested. JuJu Lewis is walking into a crucible, not a coronation. And Prime wouldn't have it any other way. From doubt to destiny, in many ways, this moment may be the most important in JuJu Lewis' career because every great quarterback has a defining moment before the spotlight, a test of character that shapes who they'll become. For JuJu, this might be it. Does he fold under the shadow of Shedeur, or does he fight to become his own light? The shoes may be too big now, but every great successor grows into the ones left behind. Peyton followed Archie. Mahomes followed Smith. Greatness isn't always instant. Sometimes it's forged in silence, in challenge, in doubt. Coach Prime's message may have felt like a riddle, but its translation is simple. Earn it.